Beach to Ocean back. Today we're going to do our Refugium. We're going to lay everything out. We did find 2 freebies. I'm going to estimate what they would cost to buy used and add that to my price, because I don't want to lie to you and start adding free stuff that I had. You guys aren't going to have to. You aren't going to have, so you're going to have to go find. This is our protein skimmer. As I said in the first video, my original 130-gallon tank was salt water. It had this protein skimmer. It's a hang on the back skimmer, a hang on the side skimmer. I don't know who makes it. I recently looked it up. I do need a pump for this, so I had to find out exactly what brand it is and all that stuff to see what pump it originally came with. They say it can go in the sump. We're going to put it in the sump merely just because I don't have the room. I want to save what room under my cabinet I have, and I might as well just put it in there anyway. The one nice thing that this has, which I always liked, were these 2 little spill cups. It comes out, spills into this one, spills into that one, and comes out. It does let a lot of the micro bubbles come out of the top. And we're going to talk about the micro bubbles in a minute. They do come off though, because right now I would need a horrendous amount of room. I might end up wanting to keep one of these. My updraft tube is this long anyway, so I need at least that much room. Be careful, don't push your skimmer up by the cup when the cup falls off. I dropped this one on the floor about twice before we started making the video here. So if we measure that out, I'm about 12 inches from here. I need a little more room for it. We've got plenty of room in this tank. This tank is 12 inches by 36 by 16. So we're going to go ahead and eat about 13, 14 inches in our first sump area. Okay? So we're going to put our first divider somewhere in here. A little thing about micro bubbles, everything I try and research on the web, somebody says this, somebody says the exact opposite. So basically I read both and I take my judgment. The first one is there's 5 or 6 out there that say micro bubbles are horrible, you don't want any of them. There's 2 Reef things out there that says it's a natural part of nature, and if you look at a reef, bubbles flow in the crashing waves and all that, and it doesn't harm anything. So I take both with a grain of salt, and basically neither one of them told me that I need micro bubbles. So we're going to try and get rid of as many as we can, because all the professional made Refugiums have something in there to try and eliminate that. So unless somebody tells me that it's beneficial and I need it, we're going to try and eliminate it as best we can. The other thing with the protein skimmer, the water level in the protein skimmer, if the water level in this changes, I'm going to have to redial in my protein skimmer. I really don't want to do that. So our first thing in here, and I'm still up in the wall, by the time they get glued in, we'll have a definitive. I'm going to wall this off. That way, no matter what happens in the rest of this Refugium, that water level should pretty much stay wherever I set it. I'm still trying to figure out how the water level in this stays. I've asked tens of people and they just keep asking me questions. So this is one of those, I'm going to make it, we're going to run it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. We're going to figure it out. You'll get a learning lesson. If it works, then you'll know it works. When I do get it all figured out, we'll make a little video on how this thing works and how the water levels stay. I think we're going to run a full barrier in here. The debate over socks, no socks and all that. I'm not going to run socks in it. I'm not a perfect daily maintenance guy. The socks do get clogged. Everybody says you got to clean them every day, every other day. You ought to have 3 or 4 sets so you can revolve them out. The other thing is cups for the tubes to dump into. That I think helps eliminate micro bubbles. Most of the professional made ones, the 2 PVC tubes coming in from our overflow box, go into a chamber that holds the water. I'm going to give props out here to New York Stilo. We did that on the last one with the cleaning. He bought a Refugium. He runs his without socks, and it doesn't have the little cans in it. And I agree with him. As much as I can keep the organic material stirred in here, the better my protein skimmer is going to work, the more I'm going to take out. So to keep this level so I don't have to mess with it and to try and keep as much mixing, we're just going to dump our 2 tubes in here, and we're going to have a solid chamber that we're going to overflow from the top. Okay? So we'll give that probably about 2 inches. We'll get another sheet here, because I do want the bubble trap in there, and then we're going to start our Refugium. So get rid of some of that. It's going to be open here in the bottom. We'll go through this whole thing when I'm done. So we ought to fill that. That'll give us a primary bubble trap. This wall coming up, we're going to go ahead and give it an opening in the middle, because I do want my water flow going through the middle of my refugium instead of just coming over the top and possibly just going on over to the other side. Okay. So this will be our main refugium chamber. These I might tighten up a bit. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to get everything and start cutting it and see how everything goes. The other freebie we got here was our pump. This is a Pond Master 700 gallons per hour. So the one thing you do have to watch with your pumps, it's a 700 gallon per hour pump. If you look at my fish tank, it's virtually as tall as I am. So I'm going to be almost 5 feet off the floor. So that's going to cut it down to probably about 450 gallon per hour. So you always got to calculate how high your tank is versus your pump. Again, I don't know how this is going to work. Everybody says the amount of water I pump out is going to be the amount of water coming in. But as far as I know, the overflow box is just going to run what it can run, whether that can pump it out or not, and this just overflows. We'll find out when it's all built. So we do need some room in here. We are going to put a reactor or two on here, at least one for phosphates. As we said before, when you saw the back of my other tank, phosphate is an issue. With this entire refugium, I don't think we need the little bio pellet thing, but as time progresses, if we need a calcium reactor, whatever, we're going to keep lots of room in here to get all our pumps. So we're going to back that up probably to about here. So we can put that pump in. We can put 2 more pumps in if we needed to, because any other pumps are probably going to be smaller than that. But a chiller would require a pump, so we might have 3 or 4 pumps in here. We're going to measure that pump out and figure out where we're going to put that. The other side of this, we're going to put a little spillway where that runs down, and then we're going to put the wall in for our return sump. One thing I am going to do on these, I've looked at 5 or 6 refugiums. A lot of them, I'm going to try and put a little shelf out here and a little shelf up here, and get some of the ceiling. You'll see that, the white square ceiling light fixture stuff, so that we can actually put a little shelf in here that we can put foam or sponge or something. If I get too many micro bubbles, I want something here to break them up. And then we can put a pad in here if we need carbon or we run something else. The only thing with these, if you put the bag in there, I don't think it has really good flow through it. Most of it's going to flow around it. It's pretty much just going to be sitting there soaking. So I really do like the reactors, because the reactors force everything up through. That phosphate reactor I have works beautifully, because I do have a phosphate problem. So we're going to get some Lexan. We're going to look at all our marks. We're going to measure it out a little more perfectly. Go ahead and cut our stuff, get it siliconed in there. So the next video you should see is when it's finished, and then we'll take it all to the house and we'll fire it all up, say a small prayer, and hopefully don't have water all over the floor.